Hilary's aunt.
Hilary Smith belonged to a good family, and his father never hesitated to mention this fact. The actual age of the family was doubtful, but Mr. Smith behaved like a man of the past. His ideas and manners were those of the Victorian age. Unfortunately, Hilary himself had some unimportant trouble with the bank about a few checks. It seemed a very slight matter to the young man, but not so to his father. Hilary was sent off to Australia without delay. Mr. Smith knew little about that place, but he understood one thing. It was a convenient country for those who did not like the customs of old England. Hilary did not like Australia, and Australia did not like Hilary. He therefore took the earliest opportunity of returning to England. He could not, of course, earn enough money to buy a ticket, so he had to wait until his father and his brother died. They fortunately did this at the same time. After that he received all the money which belonged to the good old family. There was not a great deal of money, and Hilary soon spent it. The old family had not been able to get much in recent years. When all the money had been spent, Hilary could do one of two things. He could die or work. The thought of neither of these gave him any pleasure. Then he remembered that he was not alone in the world. He possessed an aunt. She was his father's only sister, and he knew little about her. His father's ancient ideas were responsible for this unfortunate fact. When her name was mentioned, he never looked very pleased. "Your Aunt Mary brought no honor to the family," he said. Hilary, of course, tried to discover what she had done. It seemed that she had failed to marry a nobleman. Instead, she had chosen a husband who was connected with trade. No old family could bear that sort of thing, of course. As soon as she became Mrs. Prothero, her brother considered her dead. Later on, Mr. Prothero died and left her a lot of money. But that did not bring her back to life in her brother's opinion. Hilary discovered his aunt's address by talking to the family lawyer. Fortunately, she had remained faithful to him even after she fell. So Hilary's sun shone again, and the old lady seemed to like him. When he was feeling honest, he could talk attractively. He frequently visited his aunt's house, and soon he was living comfortably in the building which the profits of trade had provided. Hilary was very relieved when he was able to move into the house. He felt like a sailor who had just reached harbor. He had only about 6 pence in his pocket. One thing was immediately clear. His aunt was seriously ill. She acted bravely, but she was slowly dying. He had a private talk with her doctor, which alarmed him greatly. The doctor told him that nothing could cure the old woman. She might perhaps live for some time, but the end was certain. "Her condition may become worse at any moment," the doctor said. "When it has passed a certain stage, she won't want to live. No kind person will want her to live either." Hilary was very annoyed. Fate had found a home for him, and was now going to throw him out of it. Once again, he would have to live in the hard world alone. There was only one thing that he could do. He chose an evening when his aunt was feeling better than usual. Then, very gently, he asked for details of her will. When she heard the word will, his aunt laughed loudly.
"Have I made a will?"
she said.
"Yes, of course I have. I left all my money to now. What was it? To whom did I leave it? Some religious people in China, I think. Or were they in Polynesia? I can't remember. Blenkinsop, the lawyer, will tell you about it. He still has the will, I suppose. I was very religious when I was a girl."
Did you make this will when you were a girl, Aunt Mary?
"Yes, when I was 21. Your grandfather told me to make a will. He believed that everyone ought to do that. I had no money then, of course, and so my will wasn't very useful."
Hilary had been filled with sorrow when he heard the first details, but now his eyes were happier again. "Didn't you make another will when you were married?" he asked. His aunt shook her head.
"No,"
she said.
"there was no need. I had nothing and John had everything then. After John died, I had a lot of money, but no relation. What could I do with the money?"
She looked at Hilary with steady eyes.
"Perhaps I ought to talk to Mr. Blenkinsop again,"
she suggested. Hilary said that there was no need to hurry. Then he changed the subject. On the next day, he went to the public library and examined a certain book. It told him what he already believed. When a woman marries, an earlier will loses its value. A new will must be made. If no new will is made, the money goes to the nearest relation. Hilary knew that he was his aunt's only relation. His future was safe. After a few months had passed, Hilary's problems became serious. The change in his aunt's condition showed that the doctor had been right. She went to bed and stayed there. It seemed certain that she would never get up again. At the same time, Hilary badly needed money. He had expensive tastes and owed a lot of money to shopkeepers. They trusted him because his aunt was rich, but their bills were terrible. Unfortunately, his aunt was now so ill that he could not easily talk to her. She did not want to discuss money matters at all. She was in great pain and could hardly sleep, so she became angry when money was mentioned. In the end, they had a quarrel about the small amount of 10 pounds. She accused him of trying to get her money. Hilary was not very angry. He understood that Aunt Mary was a sick woman. She was behaving strangely because she was ill. He remembered the doctor's words and began to wonder about a new problem. Was it kind to want his aunt to live any longer? Was it not better for her to die now? He thought about this for a long time. When he went to bed, he was still thinking. His aunt gave him some news in the morning. She told him that she was going to send for Mr. Blenkinsop. So she was going to make a new will. Hilary was not sure that a new will would help him. She might leave all her money to someone else. What could he do then? He reacted a clear decision. He must do a great kindness to the poor old woman. Every night she took some medicine to make her sleep. Hilary decided to double the amount. He did not need to say anything to her about it. He could just put her to sleep forever. He found that it was a very easy thing to do. His aunt even seemed to help his plans. An old servant had been nursing her, and she told this woman to go out. So the servant went off to attend to her own affairs. She was told to prepare the medicine before she went out. Then Hilary could give it to his aunt at the proper time. It was easy for Hilary. He had only to put some more medicine into the glass. If anything awkward happened, he could easily explain. He could say that he had not understood the plan. He had not known that the servant had put the medicine in. So he had put the proper amount into the glass. It was unfortunate, of course. The total amount was too great. But who would suspect dear Hilary? His aunt took the glass from his hand with a grateful look.
"Thank you, Hilary,"
she said.
"I want, more than anything, to sleep and never to wake up again. That is my greatest wish."
She looked at him steadily.
"Is that what you wish, Hilary? I have given you your chance. Forgive me if I am suspecting you wrongly. Sick people get these ideas, you know. If I am alive tomorrow, I shall do better for you. Mr. Blenkinsop is coming here, and I shall make a will in your favor. If I die tonight, you'll get nothing. Some people in China will get all the money. I ought, perhaps, to explain. John Prothero never married me. He already had a wife and couldn't marry again. That made your foolish father very angry with me. No, Hilary, don't try to take the glass away. If you do that, I shall know, and I don't want to know. Good night, Hilary."
Then, very carefully, she raised the glass to her lips and drank.